Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for September 26th. September 26th is the 269th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 270th in leap years, with 96 days remaining to the end of the year. Running right up on us, isn't it? Today's word is archetype. Archetype is a noun that means a very typical example of a certain person or thing. In Jungian psychology, it can also represent a primitive mental image inherited from the earliest human ancestors and supposed to be present in the collective unconscious. The word archetype comes to us from Greek. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes. Ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with others. You can do that with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. There's also a link in the show notes to the playlist for this day in history. So if you're curious about a certain date, you can go to that playlist. That list is in the show notes, and I'll also put it up here in an iCard for you. And with that, we're going to start on September 26th of 1580. When Sir Francis Drake completed his 3-year circumnavigation of the world, the first time that this had been done. This is the birthday of a man known as Johnny Appleseed. Born John Chapman, he acquired the name of Johnny Appleseed. He was born on September 26th of 1774. A popular legend about him is that he went about trekking, tra-la-la, spreading apple seeds about as he went. But in actuality, he was not quite that carefree. He planted nurseries. He would build fences around these nurseries to protect the young trees from livestock and maybe wildlife, and leave the nurseries in the care of a local person who could sell some of the saplings and keep a share of the money in return. He also preached the gospel as he went about. I don't get much sense that he ever settled into one particular place, but was more itinerant. He never married and became a vegetarian in his later years. Johnny Appleseed lived to the age of 70. It was on September 26, 1905, that Albert Einstein published the paper that introduced his special theory of relativity. The United States Federal Trade Commission was established by the Federal Trade Commission Act on September 26, 1914. Gangster known as Machine Gun Kelly surrendered to the FBI on September 26, 1933, and as he did, he shouted out, "Don't shoot, G-men," which then became the nickname for FBI agents. The ocean liner RMS Queen Mary was launched on September 26, 1934. During World War II, this ship was converted to a troop ship to haul Allied soldiers about. After the war, she was refitted back to passenger service, and with the dawn of the jet age, ocean liners became less and less profitable to operate. So the Queen Mary switched careers again, ever so versatile, and is now permanently moored in Long Beach, California, where she serves as a tourist attraction. On September 26, 1959, the strongest typhoon to hit Japan in recorded history, Typhoon Vera, made landfall, killing thousands and leaving over 1 million people homeless. The first televised debate took place between presidential candidates Richard M. Nixon and John F. Kennedy on September 26, 1960. The Beatles album, Abbey Road, was released on September 26, 1969. It was their last album recorded together. The Concorde made its first crossing of the Atlantic in record-breaking time on September 26, 1973. Baseball great. I love it. We've got 2 baseball references in the same day. Baseball great Nolan Ryan set a major league record on September 26, 1981, when he threw his 5th no-hitter. Wow. Good job, man. Stanislav Petrov probably saved all our lives. On September 26, 1983, a man named Stanislav Petrov was working as the duty officer at a Russian nuclear early warning system command center when the system indicated that a missile had been launched from the United States, followed by 5 more. Fortunately for everyone, Mr. Petrov was using his brain to think that day. He'd been told that a U.S. strike, should it ever occur, would most likely be an all-out attack, and 5 missiles just didn't seem like an all-out attack to him. In addition, the presumed missiles were never picked up by ground radar. Petrov had come to that job from more of a civilian background, whereas most of his colleagues had military backgrounds, and chances are good to strong that had one of those colleagues been on duty that day, we most likely would not be having this day in history right now. He's gone on to the big command center in the sky now. I think he lived to the age of 70. But this wasn't about his birthday. This was about the historic event that he played such a big part in. Interestingly, he got scolded for not calling it in. But if he'd called it in, they would have retaliated with an attack. So he just kind of sat that one out, and I'm glad he did. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for us today. This kind of seems like not a very long report, but there you go. Some days are just that way. I hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. I always do. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains all these videos. There's a link in the show notes. There'll also be one right up in the iCards here. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share with others. You can do that with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. Remember that I have another channel, 8 Susquehanna. And I guess that's it. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, we'll be cutting that out one more time. Well, actually, as many times as we need. We'll read that one again, too. Distractions. This is what happens when you don't clean up your script. I might leave that part out. I don't know how all that's going to go together, or if it's even going to make it to the video. We'll just see. That's not going to go. Yeah, we're going to cut those out. That'll all be laying on the cutting room floor. So I'll just do that whole thing over. That might not make it into the video. We'll see. Changing it up.